creative practices and stability in the functions of management to create competitive spirit among employees. Productivity comes with proper input. So input is to be trained properly. And coming to the functions of management, first of all, we go to the planning function. Planning. So everyone knows that planning means it is a predetermined course of action. Right from the planning itself, we need to add some sort of uniqueness. So we should be able to overcome any sort of situations by our plans. So plan should be very flexible and it should keep on changing according to the situation. Coming to the organizing, creativity should be in the organization structure itself. So we know that some organizations follow centralization and some other organizations follow decentralization. So whether centralization or decentralization, whatever we are going to follow, it should depend upon the situation. All the time encouraging the centralization is not good, and all the time encouraging the decentralization is also not up to the mark. So we should change as per the requirements of the business organization. And previously it is called as a mission, but presently human resource is treated as an asset to the organization. So we need to select the people who are having core competent nature. So further, our recruitment policy should be unique. And we should follow the innovative practices in the recruitment policy itself. So I wanted to quote out certain sort of companies which formulated this unique recruitment policy just like Airtel and got a very good success rate in the 2001 itself. So it stands first in the telecommunication world by following a peculiar recruitment strategy. Coming to the coordination, we should have some sort of innovations in the coordination and also controlling. And finally, I wanted to conclude that irrespective of the small organization or big organization, we must and should follow the innovative human resource management practices. Thank you.
So if it is your first presentation, I congratulate.
Dr. Anupama and Dr. Lavanya Kumari on the topic Fostering Innovation at Work, Managers Approach. And then G. on current level of employee engagement among Indian software companies and empirical studies. And Professor E. Javajavan, impact of leaders' emotional stability.
Good afternoon after having a good lunch. So I welcome you participants to the second session, technical session. And I think the presenters are ready with their presentations, and we are having 4 presentations here, and each presenter will be given 5 minutes of time to present. Dignitaries and learned friends over here. My topic is fostering innovations at work, managers approach. So I would like to start with innovation at work, which is a combination of idea, leader, team and plan. My focus here is more on the leader, that is the manager, who will be supporting the organization fostering innovations. So my motivation behind this study is like innovations are required in the processes, in the very technology and also people management. So managing the people is more related with the manager's role. In the sense, like the manager has a key role in motivating or encouraging the employees to promote or maybe provide innovative ideas to the organization. and this is the methodology we have adopted. Like the study area is confined to Rayalaseema region, wherein the select industries such as Amarasa Batteries Limited in Gobe, Lanco Industries, etc. are taken, and 50 managers are considered for the study, and 50 employees are also considered to assess the satisfaction level with regarding the manager's approach. A structured questionnaire is built and data is collected. A stratified random sampling technique has been adopted for data collection, and statistical analysis is made for the collected data with the graph tabulation, chi-square test, correlation. And these are the key areas wherein we have found there is a significant impact of age on the manager's approach. Like and there is also education, which also impacted the manager's approach. And with regard to the satisfaction of the employees, experienced employees, the experience factor has influenced the satisfaction level of the employees with regard to managers' approach, fostering innovations at workplace.
And it's an empirical study. So I would like to explain not in detail because from afternoon session onwards everybody is telling that innovative strategies and all these. But let me clear you that whatever we are studying all these things, now we see only in books itself, because I am doing my research work regarding this employee engagement itself. Now when we speak directly with the employees, almost all the employees, particularly I have done my research in IT sector, most of the employees, they are not satisfied. Moreover, not satisfied. No, instead of using satisfied, I need to use a word called engagement. I'll tell you the difference between satisfaction and engagement. And there was a paradigm shift from the term employee satisfaction to employee engagement. See, engaged employee is one who fully committed to do the work for the organization. And engagement is a two-way street, whereas satisfaction is a one-way street. In the sense, where in satisfaction, employee thinks what organization will do for my growth and for my development. Whereas in engagement, there will be the development of both the things, the employee and the employer. So that's what the industry needs right now. So what we are discussing right now from marketing to till now, everybody is telling that company need to go for this strategies or that strategies, etc. So is this the thing, whatever the strategies that we are selling today, which are there in the books, is really companies are implementing this? So if that is the case, now why all these studies are right now? Now even I too have done my research, and I have literally, if I might have distributed my questionnaire, I don't have this knowledge actually. Now I went and I spoke with some of the employees, particularly in these companies. Most of the employees, if they reveal the real information, what is happening in the industry, almost all the employees are dissatisfied, and the engagement level particularly is very low in industries. So what we need to do is actually, managers and all these things, rather than following the innovative strategies, at least understand what employee needs. How employee will be committed for the organization. If I want to work for the organization, first to find out what I am expecting from the company. All the employees won't work for money, or all the employees won't work for name or something. First what the company must do is, they need to identify what employee actually needs. That's all engagement is simply. Lacking particularly in IT industry. Most of the employees, they reveal that the work what they are doing is routine. It's a monotonous work. Basically, most of the employees, as they are thinking that the work is monotonous, they won't be challenging and they won't be engaged. And supervisor and organizational support. That I tell you, I completed my MBA in 2006. Before that and after that, I am continuously listening this word organizational and I didn't remember that surname. First he quoted the servant leadership. I didn't find anywhere. I have approached almost 6 IT companies. No manager. No, even they didn't utter this simple word, servant leadership. Now what companies right now is they want only profits. Now what all the things they are doing right now is only these are in books. That's all. No company is literally implementing all this. That is the reason why the employees are leaving the companies right now.
Leadership. Leaders' emotional stability in the retention of employees in the context of IT itself and confined to Hyderabad and Secunderabad areas. When I've done my research, that was actually on retention of employees. In that, I've identified one thing that leadership plays a major role in retaining the employees. So further, after completing my research again, I've taken this topic and I wanted to go into this one. This is only a conceptual paper and I'm just explaining the idea how the leaders play a key role. When I contacted the employees of IT, they said that we are not leaving just because of pay structures, not because of the facilities or any of the work-related aspects. Of course, they play a major role. One of the other major role playing is our leaders. Especially why the leader here is being pointed out is scenario is happening in IT sector. And there is some sort of ego problems and also some sort of maturity levels. Maturity problems are also there with respect to the team leaders while leading the team. We know what a leader is, what is the difference between manager and leader. I'm not going to explain all those stuff here. The only concept what I wanted to highlight for further research is really a leader plays a key role. He is the spirit of our team. Maybe he is young or experienced or not having any sort of experience, but still he represents our team. So he must be having certain qualities where he needs to stable his emotions. He needs to have some sort of control over his emotions while talking to us, while maybe segregating the works here, while communicating our work with the superiors, project managers and all. So here they have some sort of problems. Whenever the work it has been communicated to the project manager and the segregation of work is there into the lower levels, they found that it is not properly done. Because of this aspect, most of the team members were dissatisfied with their leaders. And even in my questionnaire, they said that leaders should be properly trained. Whenever a leadership position is going to be given to a certain particular person, first of all, his qualities ought to be analyzed. Analyzed particularly with respect to what he knows about himself, what he knows about the role he is going to play as a leader and which set of team he is going to lead, and also few concepts related to what the team members and what the team expects from a leader. If a leader is going to analyze what the team is and he knows what the expectations of the members are, then only that leader should be given the proper priority to promote into that higher position. This is what I have identified. And emotional stability, I need not explain what emotional stability is, and I want to specify one thing. Leader is also a human being. He is also emotional. Emotions are the primary thing what every individual will have. Every human being and even a non-human being also will have. So, how to control emotions? Is it that easy? With respect to IT sector, when all the leaders are not having much sort of maturity, how they are going to control their emotions. In India particularly, emotional stability of leaders is not given the primary concerned. It is not that still into the research, and even organizations are not planning any sort of strategies to separate this concept. But in foreign countries, definitely the emotional stability is playing a key role, and even there are a number of research works are going on how leaders' emotional stability is playing a key role. In the research also it is identified that employees are not leaving the organization, instead they are leaving their bosses. They are leaving their bosses, not the organizations. When this concept is very clear, why can't the Indian organizations give importance to the emotional stability of a leader? And why can't such special training programs ought to be organized? How a leader can control his emotions. Emotions all the time, 100% we can't control. Maybe all the 100 in 100 situations. But to the maximum extent, definitely every individual when reaching the higher positions, they must have control on their emotions. That speaks about the mental maturity of the person. Mentally matured person only can delegate the work properly, can handle the work properly, and can satisfy the employees, and he can create the trust what all other team members are going to expect.
This is D. Madhusudan Rai. This is Karul from Jordan University. The title of my paper is Impact of Global Financial Crisis on Banking Sector and Mobility. Global financial crisis. In the global era, every economy depends on the world economy. It is a interlinked economic process. If any downturn or economic recession happens in one country, it is entirely impacted on the global finance. So, coming to global financial crisis 2008, it was majorly impacted. Some crisis directly and indirectly impacted on both emerging countries and advanced economies. And this crisis also impacted on international financial instruments such as foreign institutional investors, bank lending, and the forex markets, and in most of the countries in this period, equity markets also be fell. In this process, in this period, most of the central banks are alerted their key policy rates to out of this economic recession. Impact of this crisis on emerging economies. Initially in period of 2008 until the third quarter of the 2008, it was not impacted on emerging economies. It is started from the fourth quarter itself on the impact of the emerging economies. In the fourth quarter, the economy in these emerging countries economies completely becomes negative. During the 2008, during the 1980s and 1990s, also defeated in these emerging countries, it was not impacted in the initial stage. It's impacted in later stage. And internationally, this no investments coming to these emerging economies. Already the investors are diluting their investment in these emerging economies during this crisis. Coming to the US's bank crisis, the 2008 economic crisis was initially started in the USA itself. All of us know how the economy was impacted in 2008 due to the economic crisis. It was the originator from the USA itself, because this subprime lending. Here the banks were given the home loans to those persons who are not in position to repay the loans. That's why this subprime crisis lending is happening in the USA. It was majorly impacted the global financial crisis 2008.
State of mind that to what extent person is engaged, we cannot tell somebody is 100% unengaged. No. Here engagement.
Let me clarify. It's not my research. Let me clarify. It's not my research. It was from a HR special survey. Only 39% of the Indian employees were engaged. But of course, I don't know whether it was correct or not.
is existing in IT industry. It's true. But the link between work engagement and employee engagement is not proper. There is a gap.
Gap analysis.
Yeah.
Right job is missing.
Yes, sir.
You said that one person given another project, that person is not agreeing and
Needs
is
to be
not
present, the employee
Yes.
working engaged.
That is true. That is true.
Madam.
That is what happening.
And climate, organizational climate also, it is not infrastructure, it is not also climate. is-
That the person is finding one project, and obviously again, if they are giving in another project,
Finally, whether the companies are getting profited or not. Whether financially, are they not becoming strong? When all the
Maslow's, if you take it, Maslow's motivational pyramid, if you take it, esteem rate, skyrocketing living. We can't make a person satisfied. Here, what satisfaction is there or not? Why the retention is not taken place? Why the people are leaving, jumping like a monkeys? They are not getting any. If I call a student, he will give many visiting cards. Madam, I work at you. Next day he will come and, madam, you know that I am working in TCS. What you learn about IBM and what you learn about TCS within 1 year. No, sorry. The students also retain.
we are talking about investment is more in BPO and KPO industry.
Yeah, please, for the next session time is running away for us.
One more question I have.
We discuss afterwards. We can continue this discussion.
We are grateful that there is behavior instead of scolding. Because students are coming from different, backgrounds. Poor social, economic background, it can be psychological challenges. Maybe the students have to travel a long distance, to make it to school without maybe getting a proper meal or a sufficient meal. So I think we have to dig down to the root of the problem of the misbehavior instead of scolding. So we grew up from for example, India is quite diverse in terms of culture and tradition. So unintentionally, your attitude towards cultural differences or caste differences affect the student performance. So that's why I think it's crucial for us to be very innovative and creative in how we handle issues in inclusive education based on our own attitude. So, moreover, India is far ahead in inclusive education. It's really doing well in terms of technology. In most cities that I have traveled to, the classes that I have also entered and observed there. So the health technologies such as audio, for the hearing impaired, and the visual aid software. I have some few software we have in class. So educational policy has been there since the independence of India. So some thinkers have been, some educational thinkers in India, they have been supporting inclusive education. As we see, India has a standing policy specifically on inclusive education. Not only thinker is supporting, inclusive education. So that is, there's a continuous improvement over the time in India as well. So in my country as well, so that's why I would have a comparison between the two countries, their philosophies and the way how they address, issues with inclusive education. So, and infrastructure, if you look at most of the schools, not all, but some of the schools in big cities, so they are built in such a way, or they are advanced in such a way that they can cater for physically disabled students. So then we come to Abraham Maslow. This is an American psychologist. So he came up with a hierarchy of needs, which is quite vital, as teachers, from the principal to the HOD to the teachers. We need to be aware and we need, when we are teaching or in our classes, we need to know that we are somehow, working along towards the hierarchy of needs. So first, the students need to feel, to have the psychological need, physiological need, which is breathing, food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep. Then after that, you will move to the safety needs, which is health, employment, property, family, and social stability. After that, they need to feel a sense of belonging, that is friendship, family, intimacy, social, and sense of connection. So that will help them. The 3 stages will help them to achieve the self-esteem, which will help them, to achieve performance. So, the teacher's needs is needs. The principal need is need in order to be able to manage, the institution properly. For the teacher to be able to manage the class properly also, the needs should be met. And let alone that of the students. The student need is more. They need to be safe in the school. They need to feel a sense of belonging, not like they are scared of the teachers. In order, somebody to be more creative, most of the study has shown that a person needs to be free, to have a peace of mind, and then he will be more creative, and that is innovative in itself. So I feel this is very much crucial also in inclusive education. So innovation in inclusive education has been there. So technology as the main thing that is assisting inclusive education. So computers and software facilitate learning. So more different type of challenges for students in inclusive setting. So most of the classes also should be well equipped, or classes are well equipped also for the inclusive settings. And teachers' training has been there for those who have the innate potential and those who do not have the innate potential to teach or to handle children with challenges. So teacher and student attitudes. As I said, teachers, we need to somehow assess our behavior, to have positive attitudes towards learners with challenges. So despite you have the skills, you have the training or you don't, as long as you have a positive attitude towards the situation that you're facing, so you will be able to be creative enough in addressing it and make it better. So, usually I would want to sum up my presentation by saying we need to create teamwork. So everybody needs to feel part, to feel a sense, to feel like she belongs to the same institution. So they're working together for a common purpose. The person who is managing the whole institution to the person who is cleaning. So we need to value everybody, and we need to make sure everybody feels as part of the team to reach a common goal. I thank you. Oh, sorry. There are some success stories that I have included in my presentation, such as Fatima Musa from Developmental Disabilities. So, but she has made it, she managed to complete her school up to class 2. So, and this is another case of a shop K, who is from the lead class. And she has a DAS offshore engineering company, which has employed a lot of people. At least it has improved the living standard of 4,500 people in India. So if we could cater for all the people from different backgrounds, poor backgrounds, all with less value in the society, so they will be able to make it to the top and improve the living standard of the people and the development of the country.
To make a presentation on innovation safety. I request Professor to keep it up for 10 minutes.
Speak to you about innovations in engineering education. And please turn this on. Everybody that over the centuries, innovation has come sometimes from not doing what we are taught to do. In the case of a very important antibiotic, penicillin, does everybody remember the story of how Alexander Fleming was looking at his bacteria plate, and when he noticed that the spot on the plate, there was a contaminant. We've been taught to throw away the plates that have a contaminant on them. But instead, he looked at the plate and he said, there's something about this that's intriguing, that the bacteria could not grow on the spot where the contaminant was. Please change the slide. penicillin. Penicillin. Yes.
First antibiotic.
Was I unclear? First antibiotic. First antibiotic, penicillin. That's correct.
Penicillin.
Okay, so change the slide. All right. This is an example from your own country. Dr. C.V. Raman, he was unable to accept Lord Raleigh's explanation that the color of the sea was due to the reflection of the color of the sky. He challenged the current thinking of the time. And from studying the sea on his ride back to India, he came to the conclusion that, in fact, the molecules were absorbing the light from the sun and scattering it. So we can ask, how do we foster young minds to challenge their teachers in the ideas? Not disrespectfully, but to think and take ownership of the ideas that are taught. Please change the slide. So I copied this, it's a definition from Wikipedia. These are all the things that an engineer is expected to do. And there's a lot of things here that you cannot learn to do by only listening and remembering the information. So when we teach, somehow we have to enable the students to develop skills that feed in the information. Please change the slide. So we can ask, how do we teach students to innovate? So we have to both impart knowledge, we have to give them information, but we also have to help them to be curious. And we want our students to develop virtues, but we also want them to be free to make decisions. So how can we give students the tools that are principles and enable them to be creative and to explore new areas of technology? Please change the slide. So I wanted to show this to you. I don't know if you've seen this before. And this looks a lot like the triangle that was in the previous slide, or the previous presentation, but no? Okay, thank you. But these are the different levels of learning. And this is Bloom's taxonomy. So the lowest level of learning is remembering. So if students are only learning to remember things and even to understand things, they're not going to be able to be creating things. So we have to help our students go up this plane by challenging them, by giving them the opportunities to experience design in the classroom, in the lab. Go ahead, James. So I thought I would show you, there has been a lot of innovations in engineering education that have meant to give the students the possibility of learning these things. The old school was sitting and listening to a lecture. Here's one. Professor Berman stopped when he heard that unmistakable thud. Another brain had imploded. Here's a famous quote by Enrico Fermi, a physicist. Before I came here, I was confused about this subject. Having listened to your lecture, I am still confused, but on a higher level. So, more and more we are seeing that lecturing is not the most effective way for students to learn to be designing and analyzing and evaluating in the fall. And they bring their academic knowledge to the industry. Because this way, the innovation that's happening, there's a lot of innovation happening in companies that can rub off on the students and get them excited about their future. And remind them why they're in school. Because sometimes students forget why they're in school. They think the end is the degree, and then what comes after that is a separate, not an integrated part of their program. So, I hope these ideas are useful for you.
The divine spirit in you, in me, and in all that is. To me, the most fascinating explanation of the wonderful word Namaste.
Yes.
You have been concentrating now for some time. You know, I know that we can concentrate only 18 minutes. So we play some music for you to relax. And I will show you this extraordinary photograph taken in 1968. It is the moon and the sun, Mother Earth. Seen from the moon the size of my thumb. Everything what happens on here, love, hatred, happiness, birth and death is here. It is extraordinary. Cosmos in Greek means order, beauty and jewel. In Sanskrit, cosmos means perfect. Cosmos in universe in Chinese means space-time, not space and time. We are part of the cosmos because in our genes we have the dust of the stars. And I want the following, please. I will play music for 1.5 minutes, or 1 minute. I will read a poem, to me a very powerful poem, so we can all relax. And I would like to ask you to penetrate within it. You can close your eyes a little bit. Indian can do that very well. You use the meditation a little bit. It's the sound of the sun. The whole cosmos is music.
You may switch off the lights also.
I trust you're closing them. Life is a chance. Use it. Life is beautiful. Admire it. Life is nectar. Try it. Life is a dream. Realize it. Life is a challenge. Accept it. Life is beauty. Fulfill it. Life is precious. Be careful with it. Life is abundance. Keep it. Life is love. Enjoy it. Life is sadness. Conquer it. Life is a fight. Take it up. Life is a tragedy. Confront it. Life is an adventure. Dare it. Life is happiness. Keep it. Life is too precious. Do not destroy it. Life is life. Fight for it. Mother Teresa. To me, it's the most powerful short poem I've ever read. She says, life is life, fight for it. Can you imagine that the word harmony? I'm very interested in different cultures, so I jump from Chinese culture and other cultures. Can you imagine that the word harmony in three cultures means war and weapons? In Chinese, harmony has two spears. And in our land, everything can be spoken of and a human being. Harmonia, the Greek goddess of harmony, her father is the god of war, but the mother is the goddess of love. Indonesia, Bali, Hindu, harmony means laras. Laras is the trick of a gun, and lara means sad. How come that harmony and war is connected? I would like to give an example from the Old Testament, the Bible. In the Old Testament, Genesis, God says to Adam, I will give you a wife to help you. Gentlemen, listen carefully now. Beautiful ladies, here listen carefully. Man changed the original. In Hebrew and Aramaic it is, I will give you a wife, Samuel, to resist you. I will give you a wife to help against you. Why? Because, let's say I'm married, I'm divorced, a good relationship with my family, 3 children. I suppress my wife. Or, the other possibility, in Europe is more possible than in India perhaps, she suppresses me. Emotion with her today, beautiful thoughts. Emovere in Latin means to move. Something moves within me when I'm suppressed.